Tempted by the new Mitsubishi Ki-21 Sally in 1/48 from ICM? Before you rush off to your favoured retailer, be that in real world or online, why not join me and have a peek in the box to see what you'll get for your money, right here on Gary's Stuff. Hi, I'm Gary and welcome to this peek in the box of the new Mitsubishi Ki-21-Ia in 1/48 scale from ICM. This kit came direct to me from ICM, but they, like you, just want an honest review of it, and that's what they, like you, are going to get. If you like the video, please remember to give it the imperial thumbs up on the like button below, and to support the channel at no cost to you, make sure you've subscribed and hit the bell to be notified of all my future content. Other ways to support the channel are in the information box below. So here's the box of the Ki-21-Ia Sally, made by Mitsubishi. Beautiful artwork here with a mountain in the distance. Interesting camouflage scheme we'll look at later on. Very, very close lines. That would be actually pretty difficult to reproduce, I suspect. However, 1/48 scale kit, product code is 48196. On this side here, we have again the product code and scale, and a brief few bullet points about the aircraft, the first of the KR-21 family. No machine gun points in the tail section, unlike the Mach 1B, which had a tail machine gun. You can have different machine gun positions in the side of the kit. There are 5 decal marking sets. The kit, when complete, will be 339 millimeters long and have a wingspan of 47.1 centimeters, 471 millimeters. That's very nearly 18 inches. And the kit includes 270 parts. The kit is designed for adult collectors over the age of 14, apparently, according to this. That's because there are some very small parts in the kit. On this side, we have the 5 marking schemes that are included. We'll go over the marking schemes later on. This one here, I guess, is this one for 105 Kyoiko Hiko Rentai in about 1942. Let's see what we get inside the box. The lid lifts off, like so. And then there's a flap with a hinged top with all the contents inside. Of course, the first thing you see is the large plastic bag full of all the parts. There's 1, 2, 3, about 7 or 8 frames of plastic in there, plus the transparent frames. We'll have a look at all of those in a moment. There's the instruction leaflet here. The outside ones, parts of which are full colour, the inside are black and red. There's a decal sheet, and of course there's a piece of information about the ICM paints, primers and thinners that are now available. Let's have a look at these in more detail. This is frame A. As you can see, it holds the fuselage, the engine nacelle sections, and some of the interior. There's the instrument panel, and these are probably something like fuel tanks, I would imagine, but we'll find out more later. Frame B has the starboard wing, upper and lower parts, some of the interior of the fuselage, bulkheads and floor points. This is part of the back of the aircraft here. There's a machine gun position which is glazed over, and this is the closed bomb bay here. Frame C has the upper and lower parts of the port wing. It has the ailerons, bomb bay doors, if you're doing the bomb bay doors open, and some interior fillets for the fuselage to cover up the moulding of the outside of the fuselage, the wing connection points. This covers up the inside of those. Frame D has mainly interior details. There's some control panels, instrument panels, there's seats, there's defensive weapons here, various bits of the sort of steps and walkways on the inside, sort of ventilation or heating pipe, no doubt. These are parts of the back of the engines. This is frame E. You get two of them, two identical frame E's. These contain the main wheels, propeller, engine components, some bombs, the undercarriage, main undercarriage structure, and some of the interior details such as machine gun magazines and things like that. And finally, for the grey plastic is frame F, which is the tail plane. As we mentioned before, the tail here is a plain-ended tail. The Ki-21-1B has a machine gun in the tail. That's the only real difference of this. The rest are the rudder sections and the horizontal stabilizers, tailplanes, and elevators. And then finally, frame G, you can see there's lots and lots and lots of bits of transparency on here. This is the part that goes over the back of the aircraft, the cockpit area, the nose, the chin area, there's options there, and lots and lots and lots of doors and other windows around the aircraft. Here we have a look at some of the plastic here. This is from the front of the aircraft. You can see the panel lines are nice and straight, not too deep, not too shallow. There's no riveting visible here. I don't know whether these were flush riveted or whether they just haven't got the information about where the rivets went. I don't know. I'd be tempted to try and do a bit of research on that and find out whether I need to add some rivet lines in on this or not. But the plastic is clean enough. The edges are clean. Let me have a look at the other side here. The injection points are plain injection points. They're not undercut injection points, so you're still going to have to do a little bit of sanding, but yeah, it's not the end of the world, I guess. The interior looks nice enough, nicely molded. You see here, this is where remember I said about the fillets that go in, they go in here so that it allows you to put the spar through and things like that, and then just cover this part up with a fillet so it looks like the interior. You couldn't mold that flat and have the this sort of extension of the wing root here as well. You can have one or the other. So they molded in the wing root, and then they've got the fillet that fits in here. But it all looks fine. It all looks nicely enough printed. Let's have a look at the instrument panel here. Not too desperately strong in relief, which is good because they have decals for these things, and I don't like lots of relief on instrument panels if there's decals. However, because of the relief, it might be as well to brush paint these. Then either cut the instrument faces from the decals and put them on, or just hand brush in the decals. Or of course get a replacement set, which no doubt will be available very soon if they're not already available. Here we have some of the detail molding we can check out. We can look at the engine, for example, cooling fins, very nice and very crisply presented. The fins on the inside of the wheels there are very nicely modelled indeed. The undercarriage legs, very sharp, very crisp. The ammunition magazines, all very nicely done. This is part of the undercarriage, and you can see this frame, support frame, injection frame. That's going to be quite a tricky thing to take off the frame in one piece, I suspect. So I think we might use a hot scalpel to get through the most of the plastic, and then sort of very gently take off the rest. That's one of the steering yokes there, pilot's yokes there. So generally, very, very good quality moulding, I would say. There's no flash that I've noticed anywhere. The plastic feels quite hard, not soft, not sort of absolutely sort of Bandai crisp and solid, but not far off of that. They haven't used much in the way of softener or plasticizer in this. So that's why you're getting these lovely crisp molds. Obviously a high pressure injection kit, so there's no flash really to speak of because the mold closure pressures are very high. But everything looks absolutely lovely and very fine. Looking at the transparent parts now, these are nice and clean. There's no air bubbles too close to the injection points. Are there any at all actually? There's a tiny air bubble there. Remember, these air bubbles are going to be there more prevalently in these because these are essentially pure polystyrene, the clear parts. Anyway, the windows on here are very well defined. The parts between the windows are skin of the aircraft and indeed the frames between the panes of the transparencies are slightly frosted, which means they'll take a primer really nicely. And the definition is good enough that you can easily put in a pre-cut mask set. And if you're really brave, you could cut your own mask, but yeah, there's a lot of transparency here. But they're very, very crisply molded indeed, nice and properly clear as well. And yeah, they're looking good. Let's have a look at these. So even these small parts that get put in, little window options and things like that, the skin area is just nicely frosted. The instruction leaflet is very nice, the full colour cover with a reprise of the box art here, a brief description of the aircraft and some basic specifications. The colour callouts here all have ICM's own colour numbers. It's not that difficult to convert between them and other manufacturers, and they also recommend obviously their own varnishes. They do have paint sets for some of this, and there's a paint set number here. There's some translations of the various bits of symbology that are used here. And more interestingly, here there's a QR code link. If you click on that, it goes to their YouTube channel. And what you will find on their YouTube channel quite often are 3D CAD renders of the production sequence, the assembly sequence, which are really useful. Not as useful as maybe watching a YouTube channel being made by a model maker, of course, but you know, I think they're pretty good. Inside, you have a map of all of the frames with the frame numbers on and the part numbers on, just in case you need to use any reference for that. I don't know why you would need to, but you might. As you can see, there's nothing in there that isn't used in this kit. Normally it'd have a bit blocked out if it's not used, but everything you get here is an option for the kit. And then the instructions themselves are very straightforward, step by step. The color is only there to highlight issues. You can options and things like that. And yeah, very, very straightforward assembly sequence indeed. The only thing that strikes me a bit like a lot of ICM kits is when you come to the undercarriage. They suggest making the undercarriage first, then putting it onto the aircraft, and then later putting on the assembled engine nacelles, which means that your undercarriage assembly is sticking out from the bottom of the nacelles when you're painting it and doing your weathering and whatever else. I'm not sure that's a good idea. I think it would be interesting to see if there is a bit of a workaround where you can maybe put the undercarriage in later, but that's the way that ICM suggests you do it. I guess they know what they're talking about. The other thing that's just always amuses me, actually, every time I look at this, if you want to cut your own masks, there are mask templates. Now, I'm guessing if you have one of these fancy cry cuts or whatever, you could probably scan these and they would generate files where you could cut these out of kabuki paper or whatever else. If not, then I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to use this, to put tape over it and cut around them or something. And I don't know how maybe glue this to the back of some tape and then cut around it so the tape is available. And all the placements are here anyway. I would imagine the vast majority of people who buy one of these are going to get a pre-cut mask set from someone. I mean, lots of manufacturers are beginning to do them. Then we have these scheme options. This first one, which is rather nice actually, with the white outlining for the camouflage patterns. This is a pre-production aircraft of 60th Air Group in China in early 1939. Of course, Japan had territorial demands, as it were, in China, in Manchuria specifically. Later aircraft from the 60th Air Group in China 2 years later, with the more familiar all over sort of blue-greyish colour scheme. Another blue-grey one, this time of the 14th Air Group, with the different tail markings here. And each step they have these 250 kilo bombs that they carry. I think four of those per aircraft. Then there is the 105th Training Flight Regiment in about 1942. This is the box art one with the very complex mottled pattern. Really will test your airbrush skills to try and do that one. And then there's a 1943, the 64th Air Group, with the dark green upper finish that we're also very familiar with, and the yellow leading edges. Then we have the Decals sheet. Not much to it really. There's the national markings, some unit markings here and there, some instrument panel and instruments, and then a very, very small number of stencils, I think most of which are don't walk here and don't push here, I'm guessing. But let's have a closer look at them anyway. Here we can look at the fineness of the actual print quality, and you can see the Japanese text here, very, very finely printed. This is a 0.5 millimeter diameter pencil lead. You can see the script here is way under 1/10 of a millimeter thick, and it's very, very clearly readable. If you read Japanese, I guess. Again here, everything's very clean, very readable. If we have a look at the cockpit instruments, very nicely done, you know, with these white markings on the bottom of the artificial horizon, for example. The gauge is very well presented. Again, I'm tempted to, if I were making this, I'd be tempted to dry brush this here and maybe either punch out these and put them in individually or just paint them, depending on how much detail I want on the inside of the aircraft. But if you want to just use them, remember the actual part doesn't have too much relief on it, so it would be easy enough to get these to set properly down into the instrument panel. And here are a few more instruments as well that go around the aircraft. The colours are very nice. The colours are clean, good yellows, very good reds. These are screen printed, individual colours screen printed, so there's no dot paint on them. So yeah, very good indeed, I think. So there it is. If you've enjoyed the video, please let me know by giving it the imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. And to support the channel at no cost to you, make sure you've subscribed. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.